Honestly, I'm so glad that you said this because it's in my mind, but it doesn't get talked about enough at all. So I even drew a picture for it. This is how women tend to view the world. Men at the top and women at the bottom. The oppressor and the oppressed. In reality, it breaks down more like this. We have men in the 1% at the top. The women who are in the 1% usually attached to those men. Some of them are married. We have men in the top 10 to 20%. Those are your men who make, those are your six-figure earners to middle class. And the women that are just below them who those men tend to out-earn. These women generally look up and see up and do not see the men down here at the bottom that essentially hold up society. These are your electricians, your plumbers, your trash men, all the workers that you don't see and don't care about who keep society running. But because the average woman has much closer proximity to the men down here than the men up here, they just blame these men for the shit that these men do. This is not the patriarchy. This is and really not even patriarchy. It's plutocracy and oligarchy. And everyone up here is your oligarchs. You're just blaming the men down here for not stopping the men down here, even though everyone up here has ensured no one beneath them has the power to do so. Without, of course, violent revolution generally. And this is why these back and forths on here continue, because these women listen to these women complain about these men, but you only have proximity to these men, so those are the ones that you bitch and complain to. And these men are like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do? I'm not up here. I have no power to do anything about the shit that bothers you. These men do not pass legislation. These men do. These men do not make laws. These men aren't the one that violate your rights. These men are. This is what you call the patriarchy. Stop blaming men down here for it. They do not benefit from the patriarchy in the ways that you think that they do. If anything, they are violently victimized by it. And if you've been watching this long, you notice I've kind of skipped over these men here. And that's because these men are the men who these women want these men to become from a financial standpoint. These are the men that these women want to fuck and want to date. So they tend to kind of leave them alone until their emotions are hurt or it's convenient for them to get on these men's asses. But since this is the majority of men, that's who gets the most shit.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Now,
here we go.
Here we go.
This what I heard. This what and disclaimer, right? I'm a cuss real bad this time. So
nothing new.
Fellas, let's talk facts. Your belt game can make or break your look.
Oh,
you could have the cleanest fit, but if your belt is cracked, stretched, or sagging, you just killed the vibe. And believe me, don't wait. Upgrade your belt game today.
So it was a sandwich. Like his explanation was a sandwich. It was like bullshit, and then he made a good point, and then there's a you're good, right? And then he just slathered bullshit right on top of that, and then tears, because we need condiments, tears, right? And then
I know the only part you agree with.
Hold on, and then some more good points, right? Because I won't say that all of it. And then he slathered a bunch of bullshit and tears again, and then he slapped it to go. Listen, I'm not going to say that second image wasn't partially true, but the victimization of y'all, what you want us to do down here, because with them up there and we don't participate in. First of all, if the men at the bottom wouldn't be sucking the men's dick up top, we might be okay. Like if you really did separate yourselves, right? Separate yourselves from those men.
How?
But the thing is those men look up to those men, to the men that up top.
You know why?
And if
you know why the men down here look up to the men up there? Because all the women want the men up there. And as men, we are logical. We are ambitious beings. We see what women want. We're like, oh, they want a six-figure guy. Let me work towards a six-figure salary. They want a tall guy. Some guys are even getting knee surgery to be, lengthening surgeries. Oh, they want a guy who's in shape. You want a guy with hair? Let me go to Turkey. Like, that's logic. Oh my God.
Truly, if truly you were not participating in this fake patriarchy, and I'm not going to debate that. I don't really care anymore about that. If you weren't looking up to those men and idolizing those men because of the money and the cars and all of the things that they say women like about them, that's what the men like. That's what they are attracted to.
But why?
That's why they keep saying that we are attracted to it.
But you are.
I just want, I want part of that. Part of what he was saying is very, very true. The 1% of men and the 1% of women, the women have proximity to those men.
Gerald, leave it up when I respond.
The men, yeah, the men, the second set of men and the second set of women, they have proximity to each other. And it's not that that second set of women is not even looking at the men at the bottom. It's just that the men at the bottom honestly do not have the room to be assholes like the men at the top.
What?
I'm just gonna tell
Yo, what the fuck is she talking about? Guys, I'm gonna ask you a question. If today women want a good man, right? Women want a man with a stable job. If women decided today to marry all the plumbers, to give all the electricians a chance, to give all the teachers a chance, to give the men who pick up trash on the streets a chance, to give the men who drive Uber a chance, would any of those guys be single? The only reason why the average man is single because all the women are hoping to get the man upstairs. The only reason why men are working so hard because they know all the women want the guy upstairs. So many men have been left, divorced, broken up with because the woman wants to move on to the next big thing because women don't want to build with the men down here. It's literally economics. We have the men down, we have the middle class, the upper class, and the first class. I think that's how it goes. But it goes in stages. This woman would literally choose Elon Musk tomorrow to have a baby with him, even if he has like 1,000 babies already, over having a baby with me. And that is the fucking truth. You know why? Because Elon Musk has billions of dollars.
like it is. I ain't gonna act like, money don't make some things go away. Because it do for a lot of women.
See?
But
for you
those
too.
Men at the bottom act like the men at the top with far less money and dirt on their feet. I really want them to humble themselves.
See?
And stop crying about the men at the top. Let's all act like those men just don't even exist at this point. And I want these men to stop cyber slurping all of the men up at the top. But go ahead with the conversation.
They always attack the guy down here, the average guy. Now, she's not ugly by any chance. But she's not Beyonce either. Which means she's in my league. I mean, I think I'm a pretty good, handsome guy, but I mean, if I can't get Beyonce, I can get her. But in her words, men down here don't qualify for her. They should calm themselves down. But for her, she's going to tell you she's confident and she deserves a man up here. Average women don't want average men. They always want a man up here. They always think they're better than the man on their level. And that's pretty much what she's saying.
So I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of what Bo said. And I thought that I would never say that out loud. But what I will say, where I disagree with this, is that second portion of women needs to be cut in half. Because half of those women only have access to the niggas beneath them. There's another half of women that have access to the men above them. And they're not complaining about shit because they're getting the outcomes they want. Aside from that, though, everything bro said is accurate. The one thing that I don't agree with that Bo said is that, like, you can't expect men at the bottom of the pole to admire the niggas who got to the top. We were all taught to, admire the athletes, admire the businessmen, admire the money, admire the Ferraris, admire all of those things, the access, the status, the wealth that people have, and then aspire to have those things one day. So to tell the men at the bottom to not, cyber slurp, I don't think that men admiring other men is cyber slurping. Like, cyber slurping is what OG Speed is doing to me in the comments, right? That's not what they're doing. They just simply admire the men at the top because they're in a position that is superior to theirs. That is natural for us. We always want to say, okay, cool, I'm in the middle now. If I do this, this, and this, I can get to the top. So they try to do that. When he said that the women try to get the men above them to turn into the men below them, no disrespect, a lot of women will do that. They will get with the guy who is above them and try to put them beneath them because it makes them feel better. So I don't have anything else to argue or to say that I don't agree with you about, but we just can't say, like, I gave you a perfect example of cyber slurping. I don't think the one you gave would fit.
It's not even that. Women want the rich man and turn him into, because the guys down here will do anything for a woman. Bring the flowers, cook for her. Like, men down here will cook for a woman. They won't be asking for a woman to cook for them. They will do the dishes. They will worship the ground she walks on, right? So when she sees that, she's like, oh my God, he's a yes man. So she will try to go up and find a rich man. Because remember, the reason why the guy down here does everything for a woman, because that's all he can do. He's scared if he doesn't cook for her. He's scared if he tells her to do the dishes, she will leave him. So guess what? The average guy will do whatever she says, whatever the Queen, Her Majesty asks for. Because, he wants some punani, right? So what happens is the women get tired of him because he's not paying the bills or all the bills. So they will go upstairs for the rich guy. But what happens is once they get up there, the rich guy wants them to cook. He wants them to dress a certain way. He wants sex on demand. Because when she was down here with the average guys, she could give him sex whenever she wanted. The rich guy, he's going to get the sex whenever he wants. He's going to have 2-3 women. She doesn't like that. So they want to turn the rich guy and make him have the money, but make him worship them like the average guy was doing. And it doesn't happen like that. The rich guy, if you want rich guy, those are rich problems. If you're going to come to the average guy, he will be more loyal. But then they complain about the rich guys not being loyal like the average man.
Okay, I got something for this. Y'all can take the damn chart down too. So basically, although his depiction was wildly primitive, his explanation wasn't completely accurate, but it definitely had. I agree with the sentiment. Whereas the top 1% of men, or even if you say, I'd say at least the top 5 to 10% of men have pretty much free reign on women. They have access to women because women will approach them, and when they decide to ever approach women, if they choose, they're going to get the results that they like, right? Those rules, those third date, those 60 days, all those stupid ass rules that women have, they don't apply to those men in most cases, right? They don't care. These men at the very bottom, they actually despise a lot of the men at the top. Most people hate the average man, right? Which most people fall at the bottom, is they hate simps and they hate the men at the top for the most part. I talk to a lot of these men. They're not very happy with those men. They don't have time to cyber slurp because pretty much they are taking all the women, right? So they don't cyber slurp those men, in my opinion. I've never heard it. I've heard them have great disdain for those particular men. They don't generally have access to women. And they don't have the answers either. Where do these men at the bottom find women? When do they have an opportunity to find women? When they go into dating apps. I don't know if you know the return rate, because women seem to have a different perspective of how it goes. You maybe think it goes like how yours goes when you put in your likes and then you have responses back. You can literally put 100 likes in or swipe right 100 times. There's a dude who did 2 million swipes and got one date out of it. I think he's out of Europe.
And no ass.
Yeah, nobody. So
No
what I'm saying is that,
chicks.
and not every case is that extreme, but I'm going to tell you the numbers because I did some deep studying on the dating apps with an expert, and they don't work. They're not even intended to work, not for men anyway. Men, if you swipe 100 times, You would be lucky to get one date if you're the average guy. If you go to the bar, I watch men crash and burn on a regular basis. If you go to the club, people are holding up the wall. If you go to the library or anywhere that's not a social place, then women act like you're weird for cold approaching them. Men in general don't have access to women, and like, you don't understand all these men that you ignore on a regular basis. This is men's reality. It is. Statistically, a third of men got no buns in a year. Period.
What?
None. So what I'm saying is that these guys at the bottom, they not getting theirs. And the dudes who are a couple ticks out of that might have got one or two in the past year. That's insane. That's insane. This is what your average guy's reality is. If a woman wants to go out and get boned today,
She would.
she has like a 99% chance of accomplishing it. If a man tries to do that,
He's
he
going
could
to
approach
jail.
100 women and nobody's going to say yes. Right?
They're gonna press
And-
charges.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that, and all these guys aren't really just out here trying to bone. These guys would be great fathers. These guys
They'll be
would be
loyal.
loving husbands. These guys would appreciate women because they typically don't have access to women, but they're ignored. So
Got no
it's
money.
like, pick your poison. Do you want one of these guys who might not be the illest? He might not have a swag. He might be a little socially awkward. He might not make all that crazy bread, but all of the things that women get on these podcasts and say they want, he checks those boxes.
And these women know, these women reject average men on the daily basis. I can guarantee you, some of you don't think she's a good looking woman, or this one, but if you check their inboxes, I can guarantee you they will have at least 100 men trying to chase them down, and they will say no until they see the Lamborghini pull up, and then like, oh, okay, let's talk. And then they go to the Lamborghini guy. The Lamborghini guy has 3 of them, and then they're gonna complain, oh, men ain't shit, oh, men are dogs, men don't want to settle down. But you rejected a teacher who would have been a loyal guy. They don't, I mean, they do understand, but they don't care. The reason they don't care is because they don't care about those guys, because that's not the type of man they want. So they know. They may act like they don't know, but they know what's going up, what's out here, because they reject those same average men they claim are not good enough.
So I don't think his depiction was that inaccurate. And I understand some of those frustrations just based on how, from what I got from Homeboy in a little bit, he probably falls under that category. And this is his gripe because that's his reality. And a lot of women love to dismiss these types of testimonies, but they're real.
Because he's talking about
We have to
Did you say we're gonna
understand that this is real. Go
Are
ahead.
you gonna
No,
say
that's
we're gonna
typically what
overlook
happens.
his money?
Ray
Well,
said,
I don't
"I'm not
know. It
overlooking a
depends.
motherfucking dollar."
Right. So what's your stance on that?
Because you kind of slid that in, Trev. Is that what you're saying? Because all the other stuff
What am I
I could
saying?
agree with, but you said he might not make that much money, and we're still gonna.
You know why?
Bro, most
No.
women
Oh
would
yeah,
rather-
that's the thing. Like so here's the funny shit. A lot of women say, "Look, I can take care of myself. I don't need no man to take care of me." If you don't need no man to take care of you, why does it matter what he makes? As long as he is self-sufficient, why the hell does it matter?
because they want
If
him to pay
you
their
don't
bills.
need a man and you have your independence.
Yeah.
Because
You
they
know
can't
why it
benefit
matter?
from
Because he
they
wants
can't-
some cat, and if he
they
wants
can't-
some cat, he can go pay somebody.
Are we talking about prostitutes or like dating regular women?
Wait, what
He
was-
the one
yeah,
said
like,
the men
what-
don't
what
have
was going with
access to women. They only want access to women. It's one main reason they want access to women. Let's keep it a bean.
Wrong.
We could,
That's not
we,
wrong.
we
You're
could say
wrong.
that
You're
women
wrong
only
about
want
that.
access to men.
You're
so
I
they
wrong.
can
said
benefit
one
from them.
main reason, not the only, but it's a main reason.
But
And we
you're
would
wrong.
we would say that the main reason that those women who think that want men is for their money.
Yeah.
So
What
if
if
y'all
the
want
men?
to sell
What
pussy,
if the
just
women
sell it.
don't even want men? What if the women are literally minding their business? He just said the men want access to the women, and that women can have access to men at any given time. So that's not the dynamic. Let's not confuse what's going on.
Like, I mean, it sounds like
Yeah, but if you're gonna claim men only want women for the punani, that means women only want men for the money. I didn't mean to rhyme, but you know what I'm saying.
we're arguing this from like a prostitution standpoint, which I think should be legal.
He said
have
the
any issue-
women. He said the men want access to women because they can't get sex, but women
No.
can. He just said that.
Well, what he's saying is that he's saying that sex is a woman's primary agency. It's not that for men. So the fact that you can go get 1,000 niggas, but you suck their dick today. A dude can't go get 1,000 women and let them eat their ass. It just don't
Why
work
is
like
this
that,
relevant?
man.
Whoa.
So because
you
what we're
bring it
talking
up.
about, you're making it seem like he's saying that, well, men's primary thing for women is sex. The only men whose primary need for women is sex are the niggas at the top that's fucking all of y'all.
Yeah, they just want to pump and dump.
Everybody
He
else,
brought it up.
they want companionship. They want friends. They want to go do shit. But the niggas at the top that y'all trying to
Want
fuck
to
with,
fucking move on.
they the ones just fucking y'all. These bottom barrel niggas ain't running through bitches
Facts.
because they get none.
Facts.
But y'all are disregarding the money part. It's not so much. The thing what Trev said, he tried to slide that in there like, oh, they're so nice. They might not have that much money, but they're so nice. If y'all stop dismissing that part, they probably can get more women, because women like men that are responsible, we feel like are accomplishing things. Not that sitting around playing a victim, playing broke games.
The average woman's
God.
the average woman's baby father doesn't show that they like niggas who are responsible.
The
Facts.
average woman,
That's facts. They make babies for gangsters in prison. So clearly, they don't care about how good a man is. They only care about that he has the, a protector persona, because gangsters and drug dealers have the guns and have that protective persona and the money. They don't care if you're a man with a bachelor's degrees, you respect people, you've never committed a crime, never had like a speeding ticket. They don't care about all that shit. You can be a good man all you want, but if you don't have the money and you don't have the gangster persona, hood dude kind of guy, they don't care. They'll take a guy with his pants sagging over a good man. Now, when she has 5 kids by 8 different baby daddies and she's 45, yeah, she may come back to you, and it's up to you if you want to be a stepfather and take care of kids of a man in prison. That's up to you. But in general, look at her eyes. She looks crazy. There are plenty of good men. Can any of you guys tell me this woman has never been approached by a good man? If she really cares about a man being a good man, she's not ugly. So clearly she has been approached by good men, unless she's going to tell us only bad men approach her, right?
or in general,
Which would mean an average woman.
But wait,
There's
you
too many-
saying all the women with kids, most of them, their kids' dad's not about nothing.
Probably
Wait.
not the way y'all tell it.
hold
It's
on.
too many- and it's too many single women for y'all to act like. Too many single mothers to act like y'all's intuition is cold too. Like if all of that shit plays
The
into it,
intuition
like, y'all act
doesn't
like, oh well,
work.
you know what I'm saying? Oh shit. Y'all act like, you know what I'm saying, we about to, well, this nigga wants this girl, or you know what I'm saying, men only want women for this. That's cool, but y'all
Trav said it. Trav said
I mean, for some reason, they like to praise women's intuition. But when they have a bunch of baby daddies, then the female intuition, the woman's special sign and intuition doesn't work anymore. Anyway, man, shout out to Lapeef.